Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Madam Chair. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here to introduce some general information of nutrition and health related to agriculture growth for rural China. Because the time limited, I just want to give some general information about that. The outline of my presentation included 4 parts. The first one is the why I focused on the rural China. Second is how the current state of the nutrition and health of the rural China. The third part is the what factors affecting the status of the nutrition and health for rural residents in China, and who played an important role in such career. And the last one, I will introduce some challenges and problems in current China. As we know, in China, although rural income per capita made great improvements, rapid economic growth has not reduced the income gap between urban and rural areas. On the contrary, the urban-rural income ratio increased from 1.86 in 1985 to 2.79 in 2000 year. And in the latest information from the National Statistics Bureau, the urban and rural income ratio increased to 3.33 versus 1 between urban and rural areas in 2009. Meanwhile, despite the rural poverty has been declined enormously, we cannot deny the absolute poverty in rural area is still large. The number of the absolute poverty in rural areas is around 36 million people. So it's very clear that poverty reduction as well as nutrition and health improvement in rural China is still the top priority for China's government and all parties in China. Second, how is the nutrition and health of the rural residents? From the nutrition perspective, I want to give the key figures from the 3 indicators. The first one is the angle coefficient in rural area. And the rural angle coefficient decreased from 67.7% in 1978, the beginning of the reform year, to 41% in 2009. The second indicator is the diet pattern. We can find the diet pattern for rural residents is improving. When entering into the late 1990s, the structure of the food consumption, that is diet pattern, changed. We can see the stable food intake declining from 62% in the early 1990s. And now in 2009, the ratio of the stable food intake to decline to 56%. And meat intake, including fish and pork and coal intake, increasing from 3% in 1990 to 6% in 2009. The third indicator is the structure of the nutrition. We can say, combining all numerous studies, we found for rural residents, the structural nutrition has achieved huge changes. The protein and fat contributed by grain decreased rapidly, and the protein and fat contributed by vegetable inclined to drop. Meanwhile, the protein and fat contributed by animal products, including the meat and fish, tend to improve. From the perspective of health, there are 3 important health indicators. The first, average life expectancy increased from 68 years old in 1978 to 70 years old in 2007. Second, the infant mortality rate decreased from 34.7 in 1,000 in 1981 to 15.3 in 1,000 in 207. Down by 56% significantly. Third, we can see maternal mortality rate from 88.9 in 100,000 in 1990, dropped to 36.6 in 100,000 in 2008, a decrease of 60%. Although China is still a middle-income developing country, but we can say these health indicators has reached the forefront among developing countries and approached the average level of high-income countries. And one question appeared in your mind: what factors affecting the nutrition and health of the rural China, and who played an important role in such career? With the improvement of the nutrition and health, we can say that China's grain production, although maintained at a high growth speed, in such process, we cannot deny the important role of the government. In fact, regardless of, no matter of the poverty reduction or the improvement on nutrition and health, the government played an important role in such career, and they made a lot of the good institutions and policies, including the household contract responsibility system at the beginning of the reform, and stimulates the enthusiasm of the farmers to increase the production. And they also implemented the market-oriented reform, including the opening of the agricultural input materials and open the market of the agricultural output. Recently, the Chinese government also introduced the agricultural insurance across the country. They give the subsidy for farmers and also give some subsidy for insurance companies to invite private insurance companies to enter the micro risk management market across the country. There's the one successful example for one province. For example, in Beijing, the Beijing government invited the private insurance company to introduce the to introduce the risk management mechanism for the farmers, and they also invited the foreign insurer like the Swiss Re, and combining with the China Re to enter the reinsurance market. So that's the kind of the PPP, the public and private partnership in the country risk management. For farmers' income, although maintain at a certain growth, this is from the micro level. We can see the farmers' income increased recently, especially for the latest year, 2009. The farmers' income kept at 7% growth rate. This made a record during the history. And food imports also increased the possibility of allocating more resources to production of grain, which attribute to market opening and international trade. The last one, I want to introduce some problem and challenges. For rural area, we cannot deny the nutrition and health improvement is still the common issue for the rural areas, because a lot of the poverty population still exists, and the lack of the abundance and enough nutrition for that. But for urban China, the diet pattern is still irrational and too much meat intake and overnutrition. Although China is still the developing country, influenza incidence is also rising in urban China. And food quality and safety issues also highlighted in modern China. So the China's government has recognized the adequacy of food output does not mean that nutrition and health in good mood. For example, in recent years, the development of food policy is more about food safety. Production standards on pesticide use, standard dairy developments, we're showing that reasonable diet and food safety are placed in a very important position for government concern. Nutrition and health is not simply an issue related to food, but also to income, education, health, social security network. How to address nutrition and health problem? To our understanding, we must rely on cooperation and coordination between multi-sectors and multi-fields in order to improve agricultural productivity as well as improvements of production structure. Thank you.